Hey, what's going on, y'all? You tuning in to Sports Talk with Big Sarge. I'm your host, Big Sarge, right here on P E to the T T Y P E to the T T Y. That's right, it's Patty Thursday right here on Sports Talk with Big Sarge and Raise the Praise 100. Hey, make sure you listen to us on raisethepraise100.com or download the app at Raise the Praise 100. 346-355-0100 is the number to call in. Once again, that's 346-355-0100 is the number to call in. And make sure you follow me on the Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z. How y'all doing out there? Everybody doing okay? I'm good. Um, you know what? Actually, I'm great. Shout out to the people who reached out to me to check on me from the other day. I was going through some things. Yes, I was. I'm getting to a point in my life. I'm getting to a point whereas as I get older, there's a lot of things that are starting to bother me now. And I'm starting to see clearly now on some things. I will admit, I've said this before and I'll say it again right here on air, but I've said this on numerous occasions that I went through an immaturity phase in my life, even when I was in my late 20s, going into my 30s. I went through an immaturity phase in my life. And it wasn't until I was being prepared by God to meet my late queen, Jamila Bearfield. It wasn't until I met her and the kids that I began to change. And I started to see things, wait, hold on. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. Y'all know on this show, on Sports Talk with Big Sarge, you're going to get some singing. But yeah, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. So as I transition to move forward to making Jamila my wife and making those kids legally my kids, I started to see things a lot clearer. And then as Mila got closer and closer to going home, when she was battling with colon cancer, when she got closer and closer to going home, I started to really see things. It was almost like God was taking me through a transitional period and saying, look, son, this is what I've really been trying to get you to, but you've been hard-headed and you haven't been listening and you ain't been doing what I've been saying doing, but I got to show you. And it's sad because, hey, look, man, listen, I'm hard-headed. I am, and well, I was. And so it took some major things in order for me to be able to see things a whole lot clearer now. And, as my late wife took her last breath on September the 5th, 2017, in my arms at 5:45 a.m., and she looked me in my eyes and took her last breath, she died so that I can live. And I know that that's something that you all hear every Sunday at church, whether you're in the building or you're streaming online, or you go back and you watch the broadcast like myself. I know that that's something that you hear in church, right? That Jesus died so that I could live. And it's crazy because Mila's passing away opened my eyes to a lot of things. One, it let me know that life isn't always promised to us. The next day is not promised to us. So that's why you have to cherish every day that you're in. That's why since September the 5th, 2017, I have cherished every day as I watched the love of my life at that time take her last breath from this earth. And so I've been seeing a lot clearer now. And I also knew that at that point when she passed, I started living. And what I mean by that is she opened my eyes to being able to live and say, hey, look, stop. You don't have to keep going through these things. You got to live life every day as if it's the last day of your life. So that's what I've been living. And so as I started to see things clear, I used to could take things. Some things I could take, but I'm getting to a point now where I can't. I can't take them anymore. And I don't like to use the word can't. When I was a teacher, I used to tell my students all the time, don't ever use the word can't. Because you can't. But I'm getting to a point to whereas I can't. And what I mean by that is I can't take a lot of things anymore, which means that I'm going to have to start opening my mouth and I can speak up and say something, regardless of the consequences. I'm at that point right now. And it's a mixture because my profession and my profession and my integrity is, I tell you all this all the time. Y'all have heard me say this. My spirituality and my humanity fight on a consistent basis. Let me say that again, and don't try to put this on a t-shirt or steal it from me because it's mine. My spirituality and my humanity fight all the time. You know who else be fighting? My professionalism and my integrity. They bump heads and they be, yeah, I remember back in the day when you was younger, you used to be like, you want to fight, you lean over on each other, push me first, push me first, push me first, push me first. And why did you always have that one friend that come up behind you and push you into the other person? That's how the fight start. Oh, wait, whoa. Here go the best, here go the best. Hit my hand. And then that person hit your hand, and then you go and you hit the other person, be like, he hit you. He just hit you. Like, no, technically you hit me, so I should be punching you. Yeah, we started some fights some weird ways back in the day. I wish they would just go back to fighting instead of shooting. I digress. When I say that my professionalism and my integrity have a battle every day, that's what's starting to get to me, and I can no longer stay quiet. So I'm moving to a point now where I'm going to say something regardless of the consequences, meaning that regardless if I lose my credentials, regardless if, you know, these people don't want to have me around again, I'm cool with that. As long as I can go to my grave knowing that I said something and me saying something may help somebody else. And so that's what you've been seeing a little bit here lately, you know, in the way that I talk and in my actions and, you know, my social media posts and my Twitter account, things like that. You know, it's really sad because I feel like this is something that, you know, when you go back and you look at our great leaders and, you know, you look at them and you pick them out as you want to. But I'm pretty sure that they got to a point where they were just like, I got to do something. Let me use Martin Luther King, for example. I'm going to use Martin Luther King just for this one small example. I'm pretty sure that Martin Luther King came to a point where he says, at this point, I got to do something or I won't never help lead these people out of what we're going through, my people out of what we're going through. And so he went to jail and he went and he stood in front of adversity and hostility and, you know, all that, you know, transgressions and things like that. But in the end, him sacrificing himself, no matter what the consequences were, he did it in order to help others. I'm not going to put myself in the same category right now as a Martin Luther King Jr., even though we frat brothers, so you know it's something about that. Hey, boy! It's a little bit something about that. But I'm not going to put myself in the same category as a Martin Luther King Jr. right now. But I do want to go down as a Martin Luther King Jr. type figure when it comes to small media platform and minority-led platforms. Because it's a shame on what's going on. And somebody has to say it. And there's a lot of people out there that's on smaller platforms, smaller media platforms, and on minority platforms who can't say anything because their income is dictated by that. Another thing, see, I'll be dropping gems on here, something that y'all need to hear. I'll be dropping gems on here all the time. I tell you all, people are only as honest as their income will allow them to be. That's it. You're only as honest as your income will allow you to be. The majority of my income does not come from sports media. The majority of my income does not come from the media. The majority of my income does not come from Big Sarge Media LLC. It comes from another source. And so by coming from another source, then I can say whatever it is I want to say. And if I'm never allowed back into any stadium, if I'm never allowed back into any ballpark, then guess what? In this new age of technology, there are always platforms I'll be able to get on. Right now, I am on a platform called StreamYard, where I am streaming this show to 3 different platforms at one time. I'm streaming it to Twitter, I'm streaming it to Facebook, and I'm streaming it to my YouTube page. You can't stop that unless you're going to stop my account. And so I don't never have to step into another stadium. I don't never have to step into another ballpark. But by the same token, I would like to, and I would like for a lot of these people to do the right things, but if not, it's okay. I'll say it if won't nobody else say it, because my income isn't predicated off of how you treat me. Because I can still write the article. I can still talk about it on any platform. I can still say what I need to say. I'm not hindered by political affiliation. So I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, you can't do nothing to me but tell me denied. I'm cool with that. You don't think I ever heard no in my life? Grew up in a house full of boys and a single mom. You know the amount of craziness we wanted to do it, and how she always said no. You know how many times I wanted to spend the night at my partner's house for like 14 days? And she's like, are you crazy? No. Hey, mama, can I? No. Hey, can we? No. Mama, no. Hey, no. I'm cool with that. If you're in a position in your life where you can't take no, then you are in a bad position. Woo! Sarge, how did you get there? How did you get there, Sarge? Lord Jesus, have mercy, bro. You need to slow down. Slow down. Slow down, Sarge. Slow down. All right, we're about to take a break. When we come back from the break, I'll jump right into the NBA playoffs and how there's one team out there that's tricked y'all and tricked y'all big time. Tune in to Sports Talk with Big Sarge right here on Raise the Praise 100. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back. Tune in to Sports Talk with Big Sarge. I'm your host, Big Sarge, right here on Raise the Praise 100. It is Pet Thursday. Make sure you follow me on the Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z at the end. I'm getting out here a little bit earlier today. I have something scheduled that I have to go to that I forgot about. And I made mention of earlier how, when you get old, that's the type of things that happen. That's the type of things that happen when you get older. When you get a little bit older, that's what happens. You tend to forget things. So let me jump right into this. All right. So NBA playoffs. It's fantastic. Y'all remember they used to do that? The NBA playoffs. It's fantastic. On last night, was it last night? I think it was last night. Yes, the 76ers defeated the Wizards 129 to 112 to advance to the second round. The Hawks go to Madison Square Garden and beat the Knicks down 103 to 89, and they will play the 76ers in the next round. Hold up. Wait a minute. Timeout. Dear Trae Young, point guard for the Atlanta Hawks. Hey, man, can I just go on record by saying this? You're a whole different type of petty, and I love it. Like, you're a whole different level of petty, and I love it. Did y'all see what he did last night? Because, see, here's the thing. You remember last time he was in Madison Square Garden, they passed out paperwork that to the crowd, to the New York Knicks fans, and the New York Knicks fans were screaming out, Trey is balding. Trey is balding. So Trey Young said, oh, okay, cool. Hey, we got to come back here. And when we come back, I'm going to show y'all a little something. First, Clint Capella was talking trash like, hey, we bullies too. We bullies. We're going to show you. We bullies, and we're going to send you home on your own home court. And then he went out and he done it. And then Trey Young hit a 40-footer, did his best Reggie Miller impression, and turned to the crowd and bowed. I wish he would have done that to Spike Lee, but seeing that Spike Lee left early like LeBron James did the other night against the Phoenix Suns, I guess he wasn't there to do it. But he turned and he bowed to him. Hey, Trey Young, I love your pettiness. You waved bye to him. Bow to him and wave bye. I love your pettiness. Hey, can I give you a little something for next year, though, when you go back to play in Madison Square Garden? Once you win, and even if it's a regular season game, just moon them. Do like Randy Moss did when he was at Green Bay, if I'm not mistaken, scored a touchdown, went to the goalpost, and pretended to pull his pants down to moon the crowd, moon the goalpost. Hey, do that next time, Trey Young. Like, I think that's what you should do. I would love it. I would love to see you moon. Do that. That's a different type of pettiness. And while we're here, while we're on the Hawks and the Knicks series, and like I said, the Atlanta Hawks advanced to the next round, second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs to play the Philadelphia 76ers. While we're here, so y'all know that there is, I respect Julius Randle. Let me say that. Julius Randle's from Texas, if I'm not mistaken. I respect Julius Randle as far as who he is. But Julius Randle rubbed me the wrong way. And I think I've said this on air before, but I'll say it again. Julius Randle rubbed me the wrong way the last time he was here playing against the Houston Rockets, a depleted Houston Rockets team. Julius Randle started talking trash to the Rockets. And I'm saying to myself, they're not even at full strength, and you're talking trash to them? Oh, okay. And I even tweeted that same night, like, oh, you're talking trash, but, I mean, it'll come back to you, bro. It ain't going to come back to you against the Houston Rockets. But it'll come back on you because I watched your game. And your game says you ain't ready yet. You got most improved player because you scored more points. But your game is not ready yet. You haven't evolved to take the next step. And if the New York Knicks give you $100 million in a contract, they stupid. But then again, Jim Dolan has been known, the owner of the New York Knicks, he has been known to do some outlandish and crazy things. Like getting Charles Oakley kicked out. Why would you do that to Charles Oakley? I digress. Julius Randle. That New York Knicks team is only going to go as far as you take them. And scoring your same amount of points in the playoffs as you did in the regular season won't take them anywhere. Depending on Derrick Rose and RJ Barrett to back you up, ain't going to take you anywhere. Now, I do admit that the New York Knicks does need another star. They need another star because Julius Randle is a potential rising star. I don't want to take that away from him. I don't want to take away the fact that he has gotten better. But he needs to evolve come next season and maybe not talk as much trash as he's doing now. So while you're 1, 2, 3, Cancun, while you're doing that, while you're gone fishing, maybe that'll click into you. Hey, you can always hug your award that you got. All right, moving right along. Utah sends the Grizzlies back to Memphis, singing the blues, 126-100, and they win the series 4-1 to advance to the second round. That was a very interesting series. Because on the one hand, I knew that Memphis didn't have enough to beat the Utah Jazz. And on the other hand, I just liked the way that the Memphis Grizzlies competed. I like the fact that Ja Morant was like, I'm not going down by just going down. You're going to have to put me down. And then angry, light-skinned 2021 version of Al B. Sure. What's his name? God dang it, I wish. Dylan Brooks. Is that his name? The little light-skinned guy that looked like Al B. Sure that played for the Memphis Grizzlies. Used to play for that was here with the Rockets for a brief second. Brief second. What's his name? Is it Dylan Brooks? I think it is. I would like to see Angry Man play long. Why does he play so angry? What are you mad at, bro? What are you mad at? He plays so angry. So I would have loved to see, maybe just one more game, but Utah had to go ahead and finish and take care of their business and move on. I'm a Donovan Mitchell fan too. So I want to see them, I want to see them do better. I don't have anything against Utah. The team. I don't know if I could ever live there. I don't know, by the way. Salt Lake City is a nice city to visit. Living there, I'm kind of like Brandon Maxwell. Last time I was there, 2 years ago, I found out I did not know they had a large homeless population in Salt Lake City. I was like, wow. I was like, ain't the Mormon? You know what? I guess we can't depend on the church to do everything. Yeah, so last game I want to get to from last night. The Dallas Mavericks beat the Los Angeles Clippers. And in the immortal words of the great Negro poet, Russell Westbrook, hey, man, the Clippers tricked y'all. Just running around doing nothing. The Clippers tricked y'all. I predicted that the Clippers would win this series in 7. I did. I thought that they would. I'm not going to even lie. I thought that they would win this game, this series. Actually, I didn't think they would win it in 7. Let me take that back. I thought they would win it in 6. I thought that the Dallas Mavericks had enough to take them to 6 games, but that would have been it. But now it looks like with the Los Angeles Clippers on the brink of elimination, like the Mavericks could win this series. And it's weird because they only really have 2 players, Luka Doncic and Tim Hardaway Jr. Like it's only 2 players on that team that's actually balling against a team full of supposed stars for the Los Angeles Clippers. But I want to take you to a point in this game last night. At the end of the game, the Los Angeles Clippers were down by 1 point. They make a defensive stop. Terrence Mann makes a defensive stop, gets the ball to Paul George, runs up the court. Paul George comes up the court, kicks it to Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann has a layup. He does. Because Luka, if I'm not mistaken, if it was Luka or if it was one of those other guys, like, oh my God, this is going to be so wrong. Let me say this. The views and opinions expressed on Sports Talk with Big Sarge and Big Sarge alone, it does not reflect the Raise the Praise 100 Houston family. Like sometimes I'm not going to even lie. There's Luka and then there's another dude, his name starts with a K. Unless I'm seeing either 77 or 42, I don't know who's who. Like I know who Porzingis is because he's taller than them. I know who Boban is because he's taller. But like with Luka and the other guy, Keebler, I don't want to disrespect him by not saying the right name, but I don't know his name. It starts with a K, I think. They look alike to me. And so if I can't see the jersey number, I don't know who's who. And so Paul George comes down, kicks to Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann goes in. The defender turns late. Terrence Mann just goes and makes the layup or goes in for the dunk. He probably gets it or he probably gets the and one, right? Right. Is it the right basketball play to make? Did Paul George make the right basketball play by advancing the ball up the court to an open player who has the better shot? Yes. Hear me when I say this. Yes. Paul George made the right basketball play. 10 out of 10 times, it is the right play for quarters 1 through 3, maybe even mid-4th, kind of late 4th quarter. Definitely 1 through 3. 1st to the 3rd quarter, great. 4th quarter, last 2 minutes of the game, no. Paul George did the right thing, the right basketball play, yes. But as a leader, no. There's no possible way with that amount of time on the clock. It was under, if I'm not mistaken, it's like a minute or under a minute. With that amount of time on the clock, you have got to assess the personnel. You are Paul George. You have been in late game situations. You are a leader on that team. I know you see Terrence Mann going towards the bucket. But you also got to assess, hey, man, he ain't been in this situation before. I think he's only been in the league 2 years. So if I'm Paul George and I'm coming up the court and I see him make the cut, I'm saying to myself, I can't do it because it's got to be either myself or Kawhi Leonard to take this last shot. Either Paul George or Kawhi Leonard should have took that shot. I don't care how many three-pointers Reggie Jackson had hit. I don't care that one of the Morris twins was on the court. I don't care if Batum was on there. I don't care if Rondo. Nobody else outside of Paul George and Kawhi Leonard should have took that shot. So if I'm Paul George and I'm coming up the court and I see Terrence Mann break, I'm still not passing him the ball. I'll deal with Coach Lue at the timeout. But I gotta go down on this game with either myself or Kawhi. So no, I'm not passing. And that's on you, Paul George. That's on you. You don't pass that. You don't give up the ball to a second-year player with your season potentially on the line. You know why? Because he ain't ever been in that type of situation no more. And he did exactly what I thought that a second-year player would do. Jumped in the air and passed the ball out. He didn't even attempt to get the and one. He didn't even attempt to try to get the layup. He didn't even attempt to try to dunk the ball. If he'd have turned his head to the left, he'd have realized I'm right here at the goal. But he turned his head to the right and tried to kick the ball out to Nicholas Batum, who should have hit the shot. But it was a difficult shot. He had two defenders in front of him as well. So, yes, Paul George did make the right basketball play. He did not make the right leader play. Let me say that again. Basketball play, he made the right decision. As a leader on that team, only you and Kawhi Leonard should have been taking that last shot or taking that shot. Hey, look, wait, hold on. I'm going to pull it out and run. Hey, hold on. Let's set up a play. Because what you ended up doing is you ended up letting them get the ball. You fouled them. Then Kawhi Leonard airballed the three. Yeah, but did you see what he was falling backwards? It was a bad shot. It was a bad shot, but it was a shot he had to take. He airballed it. Him and Rondo got into it, but whatever. It doesn't matter. A defender was standing in front of him. He couldn't go straight up. He had to fall back and shoot, and he shot an airball. And I'm okay with that. If I was a Clippers fan, I'm okay with that all day long. You know why? Because my leader took the shot, which is what Paul George should have assessed when he was running down the court with Terrence Mann. Hey, man, I'm not passing you the ball. I see you're open. I'm not passing it to you, bro. You don't have enough time. You don't have enough playing time on your tennis shoes. You don't have enough time at your locker. You don't have enough NBA minutes for me to pass you this ball in the late game situations. I do. So that's why I say it was on Paul George. Now, before I go to the break, let me say this. So it's Luka, right? So Luka, is he hurt or is he not hurt? Because when the Mavericks lost in game 4, he was hurt. But then he comes out and hits 27 points in the first half. And they win the game. He scores 42 points for the game. And now all of a sudden he's not hurt no more. So what is it? Like, y'all gonna have to pick a struggle. Y'all, I know. It makes it seem like I don't like Luka Doncic on this show. I don't have anything against Luka at all, period. Outside of the fact that they keep trying to compare him to James Harden, and I'm saying to myself, no possible way. Oh, side note. Hey, dear Bill Simmons, how many of those assists are you counting for James Harden now? Just asking because I remember you had made a comment about he be getting these assists, but they don't really mean nothing like they mean for Luka. How many got now though? Because he was getting them when he was in Houston, and he's just getting more because he got better personnel to pass to in Brooklyn. But he's still making the same passes. What about now, Bill Simmons? I digress. I'll talk about you later. It isn't that I don't like Luka Doncic. It's just that I don't understand what y'all are trying to do with him. Like, is he a great NBA talent? Is he going to, if he can stay healthy and keep evolving, will he go down as one of the greats? Yes, I don't think he'll be better than Dirk Nowitzki, but I mean, he can be. But right now, hey, stop shoving Luka Doncic in my face trying to make him great. Let me assess if he's great or not. Let me, the fan, let me, the analyst, let me, the journalist, let me, the media personality, look and say, oh man, I like what Luka's doing. Don't keep saying Luka's great, ain't he? Oh, maybe. No, Luka's great. Luka Doncic is great. Okay, but what about in game 4? Game 4 don't count. He was hurt, so he got better in a day or two. Because in game 5, game 5 he was great. He was great. So he wasn't. Okay, so what happens if he loses game 6? No, see, if he loses game 6, that means that the injury that he had from game 4 will flare back up, and then he won't be able to shoot like he did in game 5, and then he'd be hurt again. So I get it. When Luka wins, he's not hurt. But when Luka loses, he's hurt. How am I supposed to respect this guy again? What? I mean, because, like, I get it. Dallas Mavericks fans, I understand. You ain't been out of the first round of the playoffs since y'all won the championship back in 2011. It's been 10 years. I get that. I got it. You haven't been out of the first round of the playoffs since 2011. It's been 10 years is a long time to not advance to the second round. I got it. No, I got it. I see what you're trying to do. But slow down, Dallas Knicks fans. Slow down, Dallas Knicks fans, because they don't win a championship if they win this round. They just beat the Clippers in advance. That's it. So if your goal is to just get to the second round of the playoffs and then you're going to crown Luka as the greatest player to ever touch the basketball, then you win. You got it. I ain't tripping. You got it. But everybody outside of 45 and 75 and whatever else you got going on up there, everybody outside of that's like, hey, we need more. I want to see more. I just want to see more. That's all. All right, I'm about to go to the break. Hey, Rick Carlisle is out coaching Ty Lue. But I think that the Clippers win in 7 because they have more talent. Like I said, we're about to take a break. When we come back from the break, hey, the king may be sent to sit on his throne after tonight. The king may be gone. King gotta go. The king may be gone after tonight, and the NBA is going to be upset. You're tuning to Sports Talk with Big Sarge right here on Raise the Praise 100. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back. Tune in Sports Talk with Big Sarge. I'm your host, Big Sarge, right here on Raise the Praise 100. Make sure you listen to us on raisethepraise100.com or download the app and Raise the Praise 100. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Big Sarge Sports with a Z. Hold on for a second. Got to do this. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, you all. The Texans had their OTAs today, and I'm currently looking at Coach David Culley as he begins to speak to the media today. And then after him, they're going to have another player in. Tyrod Taylor, the free agent acquisition for the Houston Texans, who has a good chance of starting for the Houston Texans, will also be speaking today. And so I will have that out on Houston Style Magazine. I have an article about that later on today as I get a chance to go back and review everything that's going on. But once again, Houston Texans have wrapped up their OTAs for the day. Head Coach David Culley is speaking, and quarterback Tyrod Taylor will be speaking a little bit later on. All right. Before I went to the break, I told you that the King may be sent home tonight as the Phoenix Suns take on the Los Angeles Lakers tonight in Game 6 of the Western Conference playoffs, and the Phoenix Suns lead the series 3-2. I think that if I'm not mistaken, LeBron has never been put out of the first round of the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken, somebody can fact check me on that. Somebody can double check that for me. But I don't think he's ever been put out of the first round of the playoffs. And tonight it could happen. I'm just going to go ahead and call it what it is. Tonight it could happen. And the only way that LeBron James can stop it from happening and getting it to a Game 7 back in Phoenix, and that's the hard part. A lot of people aren't taking that into consideration, is that the Los Angeles Lakers do not have the home court advantage. And that may be playing that Suns are leading 3-2 in this series, and you just got to call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is. You got to say somebody got to say it. And I'm gonna say it. LeBron has to be in finishing mode for the next 2 games. It definitely has to be in finishing mode tonight. So if that means he got to take 40 shots, then that means he got to take 45. If 40 shots win the game, 45 seals it. I don't care if LeBron takes 45 shots or not. He has to do it. LeBron has to take 45 shots. That 24 points that he hit in the last game, it's not going to do it. As you can see, at one point they would get blown out by 30 points. Like, in all honesty, LeBron, your legacy is on the line. You said your shoulders were big enough to handle this, so you got to be able to handle this. Nobody else should be I don't care. As soon as you cross half court, in your mind, it should be 1-on-5. You shouldn't see nobody else unless they got a clear shot. But this is your game to either win or to lose. And if I was you, I would go down fighting. That last game, you were still too passive. And what I mean by passive is you're still passing the ball to people who can't hit shots. You cannot win a game like that, especially when AD is not playing. And no one knows the status of AD tonight. He said he's waiting to be cleared by the medical staff. But even if he does get cleared, once he steps on the court, is he going to be the same AD? Like, you don't just magically get over a growing injury like that. So by not being able to get over that growing injury like that, LeBron, it's on you. Whether AD is in the game or not, 40 shots, bro. 40-plus shots. You got to take them. And if you don't take them and they lose, it's on you. if you come out and you go 18 for 45 and y'all still lose, guess what? There's a lot of people that's gonna say, well, at least LeBron tried. He tried. He gave it his all. Which, in all honesty, that can't be enough for you because you're LeBron James. But you got to do it because you don't know the status of AD. You don't know if AD is going to be healthy enough to play tonight. And if he's healthy enough to play, you still don't know what type of production you're going to get from him. Look, we're keeping it 100. Let's just go ahead and keep it 100. Listen, I didn't want to go here, but I'm going to go here. If we keeping it 100, Anthony Davis has only been good one game in this series anyway. So even when he was healthy, he was only good for one game. He was still getting outplayed. He was still around the court looking lost. So now you want him to come back unhealthy. That's just going to be his excuse. I went out there and I tried. Wasn't good enough. I did my best. But I guess my best wasn't good enough because here we are back where we were before. Seems nothing ever changes. We're back to being strangers. Some don't know the words. Just once can 89 go down and get hurt? I want to advance to the second round. This is LeBron. Just once. Can you not have a soft tissue injury? Last year was a fluke because we didn't have to travel no more. We lived in the bubble. But outside we in trouble. Like, how did I get here? I don't even know how I got here. But I'm here. Just once. LeBron, you got to score tonight. You got to. I don't know what else to tell you. 45 shots for LeBron. AD. Chris Paul, we don't know the status of Chris Paul. We don't know if he's going to be healthy or not. We don't know if he's coming back or not. It's going to be interesting to see if he does come back because, we said this on Tuesday. Like, if we're keeping it 100, Chris Paul has an injured shoulder, and he keeps popping in and out of place. That's why a simple box out, like what happened to him the other night, like almost took him out. I thought he was done. I'm not going to even lie to you. But I guess they popped it back into place, and it's going to keep popping in and out of place until he's able to get it fixed in the offseason. But even without Chris Paul, they have enough to beat the Lakers with just LeBron James. And the reason why is Dennis Schroeder and KCP. Hey, Frank Vogel, if you're listening, right? Frank Vogel is the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Frank Vogel, if you're listening, you need to give the minutes of Dennis Schroeder and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to Talen Horton-Tucker and Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma. Excuse me, I didn't mean to butcher his name. You need to give his minutes to Kyle Kuzma. And the reason why you need to give it the minutes to Talen Horton-Tucker and Kyle Kuzma is because they're the only two other players who scored in double figures the other night. Yeah, LeBron with 24. I think Kuzma had 15 and Horton-Tucker had 11, or maybe vice versa. But there's only three players for the Los Angeles Lakers in double figures the other night. And Dennis Schroeder and KCP, they didn't have no points. How do you play an entire game? You won $100 million in the offseason, Dennis Schroeder. You rejected a contract from the Los Angeles Lakers. You want all this money and you scored no points? You need your Kyries back, bro. When you played in your Kyries, you was good. But ever since you gave all your Kyrie Irvings away because y'all got into it on the court, you was in your feelings. Yeah. I've said this. If I've said this 100 times, I'm going to say it 150,000 times. Dennis Schroeder tricked y'all, man. Just running around there doing nothing. Dennis Schroeder made you all believe that he was going to come in and be the second coming of Rajon Rondo on how he led that team last year to a championship, helped lead that team to a championship. The problem is Dennis Schroeder doesn't have Rajon Rondo's mindset. Any coach that has ever coached Rajon Rondo, who currently plays for the Los Angeles Clippers, anybody who's ever coached Rajon Rondo would tell you, oh, he's moody. Oh, he's temperamental. Sometimes you don't really know which Rondo you're going to get, especially like before the game or even after the game. You never know which Rondo you're going to get before or after the game. But what you do know is once Rajon Rondo step onto that court, it's almost like having a second coach. Doc Rivers tells stories all the time on how sometimes he wasn't calling no plays. Rondo was calling the plays. Or he'd call a play and Rondo would come up the court and say, no, let's run this one. And it was a more effective play. Now, like I said, one of the reasons why Rondo was ran out of Boston when Doc Rivers was there and why Doc Rivers tried to sabotage him when he went to his next location with the New Orleans Pelicans was he's temperamental. He's moody. He's a different type of person. Rajon Rondo is like, ask yourself this. When was the last time you really heard Rajon Rondo talk in a press conference? Just like everybody knows how Kawhi Leonard is quiet, Rajon Rondo is the same way. I've seen Rajon Rondo in locker rooms before, and he's to himself. He just likes being to himself. He don't bother nobody. He's just to himself. He ain't doing no press conferences. He just want to be to himself. Kind of like Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard basically really just wants to be to himself. And so Dennis Schroeder sold the Lakers on he could be the next coming of Rajon Rondo. And now we're saying, you're not the next coming of Rajon Rondo. You're not even the next coming of Dennis Schroeder. And so you're going to be one of the reasons as well as the Los Angeles Lakers get eliminated by the Phoenix Suns. And if it doesn't happen this round, it's going to happen the next round. And do I feel sorry for the Lakers? No, I don't. Lakers got their championship last year. Can't take that away from them. Nobody can deny that. But this year, it's a whole new year. They are the defending champs, but that's about it. All right. Oh, before I go to the break, let me do this. Let me say this. Tonight, the Portland Trailblazers also take on the Denver Nuggets in Game 6. Hey, dear Damian Lillard, Dame Dollar, listen, pull close. Pull close to whatever apparatus you're listening to me on. Come a little closer, turn it up a little bit, you know. And Dame, just listen to me before you get all upset and want to go Oakland on me and go to Bay on me and want to fight me. Just listen to me for 1 second. Dame, you've got to get out. I understand your loyalty. I understand you want to stay loyal to this franchise. I understand that bringing a championship to the Portland Trailblazers, bringing the NBA championship to the Portland Trailblazers would be amazing. Doing it without having to join what some call a super team would be outstanding. I understand. I get it, Dave. I get it. You want to play for only one team your entire career, and you want to make that team a championship team. And it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, Dane. It'll never happen in Portland. For one, you got the wrong coach. That's the first thing. Two, you don't have any help. CJ McCollum is good. You need CJ to be great. CJ McCollum is good. You need CJ to be great. And he's never going to be great. No matter what. He's never going to be great. You know what? He would probably be considered a great if he played for, like, I don't even know. I'm trying to think of a team where he can go. Because CJ McCollum to me cannot lead a team. Like, he can't. I don't see CJ McCollum leading any team. I can't think of a team in the NBA right now that CJ McCollum can go to and he will be the leader and he can lead that team to anything. And the problem is Dame needs somebody that plays second fiddle to him to be able to be that way. You had 55 points the other night, and it still wasn't good. You sent them to 2 overtimes. Y'all were down by 22 points, and you brought them back. You hit 2 big-time shots to send it in the overtime and to send it in the double overtime, and it still wasn't enough. You know why? Because in double overtime, you didn't even touch the ball for 6 possessions. Ain't nobody else on that team that can do what you do, Dame Lillard. CJ McCollum missed the 3. He had turnover. Robert Covington missed the dunk. Somebody else had a turnover. It's like the last 6 possessions of double overtime, Dame didn't even get a chance to touch the ball. And then you got people touching the ball. And then what? Hold on. Here's the thing. It wasn't because Denver was taking the ball out of his hands. He just wasn't able to get the ball. And by not being able to get the ball, then if you're not going to give it to Dame Lillard, then CJ, you need to score. Carmelo, you need to score. Simmons, you need to score. Cantor, you need to score. Robert Covington, you need to score. Because if you're going to take it out of the best player's hand, then you got to do what you need to do. But you can't because none of y'all are good. I ain't calling them no scrubs. I ain't calling them no busts. Just saying they're not good. And until Dame realizes that, Dame has to realize that. Dame has to say, I need a new coach and I need some better players. But ain't nobody coming to Portland to play. People want to play with Dame. They just don't want to play with Dame in Portland. And Dame doesn't want to leave Portland. So by Dame not wanting to leave Portland, then guess what you get? What's going to happen tonight? An exit out of the first round of the playoffs. All right. I'm going to take a break. When I come back from the break, I'm going to tell you how Vanessa Bryant tells Nike, just do it. Just do it. You're doing the Sports Talk with Big Sarge right here on the Raise the Praise 100. We'll be back. Wait and anticipate the moment. And they recognize you already. I got Shazam this real quick. You're already. Why did I Shazam it when it's right here in my face? I gotta put this in my. I forgot all about this song. Yeah. Hey, welcome back. Tune in Sports Talk with Big Sarge. I'm your host, Big Sarge. Right here on Raise the Praise 100. Oh, am I good? I'm good. Make sure you download the app Raise the Praise 100. And if you can't, then just go to raisethepraise100.com. You can hear me there. Be loud. Right now, the Houston Texans are currently holding their media availability. I can't see who that is. One of the linebackers, one of the new linebackers, is currently speaking to the media. Head coach David Culley spoke first, and now I can't see. I'm sorry, y'all. I'll figure it out. But all I know is Tyrod Taylor, free agent quarterback that they signed in the offseason, will be speaking next. That's all I know is that he'll be speaking next after this. So I will definitely have the article up for you all on Houston Style Magazine about what's being said in this press conference later on today. The Houston Astros are currently down by a score of 3-0 in the top of the fourth inning. So we'll keep an eye on that. All right. Before I went to the break, I told you all that I wanted to talk to you about Vanessa Bryant. Now, Vanessa Bryant is the wife of the late great Kobe Bryant and the mother of Gigi Bryant. We know that Kobe and Gigi lost their lives along with some other people, some other families. They lost their life in a helicopter crash here on last year. I think it was January 2020, if I'm not mistaken. But Vanessa Bryant is the widow of the late great Kobe Bryant, who is now in the Hall of Fame. He was just inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he played for the Los Angeles Lakers. He, won championships. If you don't know who Kobe is, let me say this: I'm not going to criticize you because there are some people who don't watch sports. So if you don't know who Kobe is, just go to YouTube and look him up. Go to the internet and look him up, and you'll find out exactly who Kobe Bryant is. So something, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a post that Vanessa Bryant made on her Instagram. And to give you some type of context, okay? To give you some type of context, there's a sample shoe that is being shown that she has a picture of, a shoe that's already been made that is a Kobe Bryant Nike shoe that has the number 2 on it for her daughter's number on it, and then on the back it has the Mambacita, which was the logo that they had made for Kobe Bryant's daughter Gigi, who, like I said, who also passed away in the helicopter crash that Kobe lost his life in. But there's a sample shoe. Now, let me read this to you, and then I'll get further into detail about it. Okay. So, sorry. So, Vanessa Bryant writes on her Instagram, "This is a shoe I worked on in honor of my daughter, Gianna. It was going to be called the Mambacita shoe as an exclusive black and white colorway on her daddy's shoes. I picked the colors in honor of her uniform. The number 2 she wore, just like her uniform, the inside pattern, Kobe and Gigi on the back in gold instead of Kobe's signature. The inside shoe details butterfly wings and halo, etc. The Mambacita shoes are not approved for sale. I wanted it to be sold in honor of my daughter with all of its proceeds benefiting the Mamacita Sports Foundation. But I did not re-sign the Nike contract and decided not to sell the shoes. The Mamacita shoes were not approved to be made in the first place. Nike has not sent any of the pairs to me and my girls. I do not know how someone else has their hands on shoes I designed in honor of my daughter Gigi, and we don't. I hope these shoes do not get sold. And she added Nike. Let me read this to you one more time. This is a shoe, and there's a picture of the shoe. Now, if anybody's familiar with the Kobe Bryant shoe his signature shoe with Nike as he got ready to retire, it's the exact same shoe. But she says that it was the shoe that she designed was going to be called the Mamacita shoe as an exclusive black and white colorway on her daddy's shoe. I picked the colors in honor of her uniform. The number 2 she wore, just like her uniform. The inside pattern, Kobe and Gigi on the back in gold instead of Kobe's signature. The inside shoe details butterfly wings and halo, etc. The Mamacita shoes are not approved for sale. I wanted it to be sold to honor my daughter with all of the proceeds benefiting our Mamacita Sports Foundation, but I did not resign the Nike contract and decided not to sell the shoes. Now, let me tell you why that's so important. Because I had one of my good friends, reach out to me this morning on Facebook, and he says, he said, I know you like a little controversy, so I'm going to say this. Says that, one, that shoe had sample in it, right? That shoe had sample in it, and, she should be loyal. Speaking of Vanessa Bryant, she should be loyal to Nike because they stood, they were still there with Kobe Bryant through his the rape trial that he had, the rape allegations that was put upon him and everything he had to go through. And he, ended up buying Vanessa Bryant an $8 million ring because he did admit that he cheated on her, but he did not admit that he raped the young lady who accused him of raping her. So he said that Nike stuck with them through all of that. So at this point, Vanessa Bryant should still be loyal to Nike. And I politely responded with, no. Why? Nike didn't make a morality decision to stick by Kobe. They made a monetary decision. They made a business decision. Because if you don't stick by Kobe, then guess what? You're watching money walk out the door. So of course, hey, Kobe, we're here for you, man. We're going to be here for you. So have you had a chance? I know you've been going through a lot, but have you had a chance to look at the shoe, the new shoe design that we sent over to you? If you had a chance to look at that, just take your time. I understand you're going through some things right now, but when you get a chance, let us know so we can go ahead and get that going. I am a Nike shoe fan. I got on Nikes right now. I like Nikes. Nike is my number one shoe. I will buy Nikes all day long because I like the way they feel and I like the way they look. But that will not stop me from saying that Nike is a panderer. They pander to black people. That's all they do. They pander to black people and they pander to make money. They did not stick by Kobe because they thought Kobe was a great guy. They stuck with Kobe because they know that Kobe makes money. Jordan makes money. LeBron makes money. Tiger Woods makes money. It's money at the end of the day. Look, Nike's slogan shouldn't be just do it. It should be it's business. It's never personal. They didn't stick with Kobe Bryant because they liked Kobe Bryant or they thought that he was just such a great guy. It's like, no, Kobe brings in millions and millions of dollars. We getting this shoe made for $13. We selling it for $250. That's a win-win. That Mamacita shoe, that's a sample already. It's being sold asking price. Asking price is $1,500. Now, I get it. Don't get me wrong. Let me say this. I get it. I got it. It's a sample shoe. And the guy that I was talking to, one of the best brilliant minds that I know, one of the best brilliant business minds who also used to be in the athletic shoe sales. He knows this. He knows this better than anybody. Nike jumped the gun. If you look at what Vanessa Bryant says in her, what Vanessa Bryant said in her IG post was, this is a sample shoe that never, this is a shoe that a sample should have never been made. It was a design. We discussed a design. You made the shoe on your own. You made the shoe thinking that I was going to re-sign the contract, for Nike. You thought I was going to stick with Nike. And when I didn't, now what are you doing? You stuck with this sample shoe, but somebody's going to get their hands on it. Somebody. Look, Nike is in bed with these resellers. I'll say it since nobody else will. Nike is in bed with these resellers. So when you try to get a shoe that you want, a retro Jordan, and you don't get it, you know why? Because Nike done already helped some of these resellers get it because they done got their money off the top, plus a little bit more. And now these resellers are reselling a shoe that costs $150 retail. Now you paying $250 for it. If you really want it, it ain't nothing wrong with that. That's just business. I'm not knocking the resellers. But Nike don't have no morals. They want money. Let me tell you all a little story right quick. I've said this on numerous occasions, but I'll say it one more time. Does anybody really know why Chris Webber left Nike? When Chris Webber left Nike, he ended up going to, I think, like Dada or something, if I'm not mistaken. But Chris Webber had one of the highest selling shoes. He had one of the top shoes at Nike. Chris Webber left Nike because he had friends who had shoe stores who Nike would not give top-notch shoes to sell. Nike was giving them the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. So Chris Webber went there and was like, wait a minute now, y'all making all this money off of me, and you making, you selling these shoes, but we can't even sell them in the hood. We got black-owned shoe stores here in the hood that don't even sell my shoe where I'm from. I got friends who have business, and Nike is like, oh, we'll take care of it, and they never did. So Chris Webber's like, I'll leave. Don't worry about it. I'm gone. I'm out. So no, Vanessa Bryant does not have to be loyal to Nike because Nike. Well, Sarge? What about when they stuck with Colin Kaepernick? Well, ask them how much money they've made off of Colin Kaepernick. Well, they were still paying Colin Kaepernick an endorsement deal, even though he wasn't in the league. Yeah, but guess what? What happened when they dropped that Colin Kaepernick apparel? Sold out in how long? Raise your hand if you got some of that Colin Kaepernick apparel, and if you did, how much you paid for it. Raise your hand if you initially was able to get the Colin Kaepernick apparel and shoes right off the rip. Nike can drop a Colin Kaepernick shoe right now, and it will sell out in less than 2 minutes. 2. Man, they stuck with Colin. They didn't have to do that cause. No, they stuck with the money. They stuck with what was going to make them money, whatever was the best business decision to be made. Now, last thing, I'm going to move on from this because it still got me a little hot. But this last thing, and I'm going to move on from this. Vanessa Bryant should have re-signed the contract with Nike because they were loyal to her husband when he was going through what he went through. Well, Kobe Bryant went to Nike and told them, hey, this is before he passed away. I want a lifetime contract. LeBron got a lifetime contract. I want a lifetime contract too. All right, look, give me a lifetime contract. Give me a certain amount of money. We can keep this thing moving. Y'all ain't got to look. I'll just approve the designs, or I'll have my input on the designs, and we can keep it going. One of the reasons why Vanessa Bryant did not re-sign with Nike and give Nike exclusive rights to the Mamba and the Mamba Cedar brand was because Kobe was like, no, y'all don't want to sign a lifetime contract. And now that she's not there, now that he's not here anymore, they're not going to give Vanessa Bryant a lifetime contract. If they wouldn't give it to Kobe, they dang sure not going to give it to Vanessa Bryant. So what does that tell you about Nike? And what does that tell you about Vanessa Bryant? She's like, oh, I see straight through this. If you weren't going to do it for my husband, you're not going to do it for me. Why would I sign with you all? And if I'm not signing with you all, how is a sample shoe that was only a design on the computer, how is that already made? You didn't have my approval. You didn't have my approval to make the sample. Because I didn't re-sign the contract. So when I didn't re-sign the contract, that shoe that you made should have been destroyed. I don't care if it's just one pair out there. It shouldn't be any pair out there. Nike is a business. They don't have no loyalty. They don't have no morality. They don't care nothing about that, which is why the reason why they always keep getting into these human rights activist battles. If Nike, I'll put it like this, if Nike had some morality, if Nike had some morals, then those sweatshops in which these Nikes are being produced in would be ran better. There would be better facilities. The people who make the shoes would get paid more. The people who make the shoes and put these shoes together would have better working conditions. If Nike had morality, if Nike had morals, if they show some sort of humanity. But if I can get a Jordan shoe that I'm going to resell at $250 made for $10, and I only got to pay you 12 cents to make it, you can miss me with that. And this ain't got nothing to do coming at you. I am just coming at the situation. Nike doesn't have any morality. Nike don't have nothing but wanting to make money. That's why LeBron is like, I ain't giving y'all no discount. No. Right off the rip, Nike paid LeBron James $90 million. LeBron James made more with his Nike contract coming out of high school than he did from the NBA, from his real job. LeBron got a lifetime contract. They weren't going to give one to Kobe. So if that's the case, then she was like, no, I'm not going to do it. You're not going to get me to do that. And so, like I said, I like Nikes. I wear Nikes. I'm going to continue to wear Nikes. I'm going to continue to buy Nikes. I like Nikes. They fit my feet. They work well for me. I like the way that they look. But I'll never say that Nike has morals. I'll never say that Nike has humanity, that they're looking out for the right side of humanity. I'll never say that. I'll never say that Nike isn't pandering. I'll never say that. I'm going to always tell the truth. Because where I spend my money is where I decide to spend my money. And guess what? Look, as long as I'm spending my money, Nike don't give a damn what I say. They don't care. Hey, oh, cool. Y'all remember when everybody was out, when Colin Kaepernick, when a lot of these Patriots found out that Colin Kaepernick was still getting paid by Nike. Y'all seen them out there burning all their Nike apparel and burning their Nike shoes. You know what Nike said? We don't care. We've already made our money off of. We've already made money off that shoe. We already made money off that apparel. When they started, when President, when Donald Trump started coming at Nike, what did Phil Knight tell them? Hey man, you coming, that's all you want. We got the money, bro. And we ain't got to do nothing you say. Won't care nothing about you talking about taxes or none of that. We got the money. So we don't care. We're our own entity. So no, you can miss me with Nike got morals because they don't. And Vanessa Bryant doesn't owe them anything. They got paid off of Vanessa. They got paid off of Kobe Bryant, just like Kobe Bryant got paid off of them. And they're wrong. I take a break. Speaking of wrong, the Boston Celtics are the NBA's version of Can't Get Right. Tune in Sports Talk with Big Sarge right here on Raise Praise. We'll be back. Hey, welcome back. Tune in to Sports Talk with Big Sarge. I'm your host, Big Sarge, right here on Raise Praise 100. All right, y'all, I got to get up out of here. I got an appointment that I have to be at. I have to be at. Now, I apologize that I have to cut the show short. And this is on me. This appointment was made a long time ago, and I should have known better, and I wasn't thinking, and I didn't check my schedule, and I was like, God dang it, here we go. All right, so we got to get ready to get up out of here. So I'm not going to do Article 15. I'm just going to leave you all with this. Hey, the Boston Celtics can't get right. That's the NBA's version of can't get right. And for those of you all who don't know what I mean by can't get right, watch the movie Life. Watch the movie Life, and there is Bokeem Woodbine plays phenomenal baseball player, but he's a little slow. So they call him Can't Get Right because he's a little, I don't know the politically correct thing to say, and I'm not trying to get canceled right now. But the Boston Celtics are the NBA. Danny Ainge stepped down from his upper management position, right? How long has Sarge been calling for that? How long has Sarge been calling for Danny Ainge to be fired? Bye, boy, bye. Boy, bye. 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 Goodbye. Danny Ainge is gone. But former Celtics head coach Brad Stevens has taken his place. So this is where it gets interesting for me. And I think I put this up on social media, but I'm going to say this out loud. That sometimes social media doesn't, what tweets and posts don't convey what I really want to say. Hey, for them to replace Danny Ainge quickly with the former head coach Brad Stevens, how long they been knowing this? How long have they been knowing that they were going to replace Danny Ainge? How long was it that Danny Ainge told Brad Stevens, I'm going to step down and to give you this job? Because I need to know that answer so I can determine when did Brad Stevens quit on the team. Brad Stevens says he's been worn out since the bubble. But you came back, you had to coach 72-plus games this year. 72-plus. Y'all just got put out in the playoffs by the Brooklyn Nets. 72-plus games this year. So when did you know this? And if you knew that, did that predicate your did you know that you were going to leave dictate how you coach this season? Did you not give your all, knowing that you were going up, knowing that you were going to get a promotion, that you were moving up? Well, it's not a promotion, Big Sarge. Yeah, it is. He ain't on the sidelines no more. He ain't coaching. He doing other things now. He ain't got to deal with all that. Not all that hustle and rigmarole. He ain't got to go on road trips if he don't want to. Compared to what he had to do with the coach, as a head coach. He got to deal with all the assistant coaches and scouts and coordinators and all that. That's the head coach's job. He's going to be part of hiring, and then that's going to be it. So yeah, he got a promotion. So Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens, at what point did you know that Danny Ainge was going to leave? And Danny Ainge, at what point did you know that you were going to leave and let Brad Stevenson take your place? Take your place. And Brad Stevens, did that dictate how you coach this year? Because if I'm looking at the Boston Celtics, I'll tell you this. They were disappointing way before Jaylen Brown got hurt. I've been calling for Danny Ainge's job for the last 3 to 4 years. Brad Stevens, in the background, there's been people say, hey, don't forget Brad. Brad got to go too. And I was like, man, you got to give him a chance. How can he thrive and work when he got Danny Ainge to work with? But now I see it's always been part of your plan. So did that dictate how you coach? Did you let down the team? Did you not do your best because you already knew? Listen, let me tell you something. I don't know how many of y'all African Americans are listening to me, but African Americans can relate to this. African Americans can definitely relate to this. Black people can relate to this. If we know we already got another job, waiting, do you realize the last 2 months? So y'all thought I was going to say 2 weeks, didn't you? The last 2 months, the job that we're currently at ain't getting nothing out of us. It's because we want to get our last check. We want to get our check. The new job don't start for 2 months. We ain't even told y'all. We ain't even told this company that we leaving. We're not going to tell them till maybe like 1 week out. And especially if you're in Texas, Texas is an at-will state. Notice, just like a company doesn't have to let you know if they want to fire you, they just fire you. You want to quit a job, you just quit. 2 weeks notice to a job is courtesy. It's a common courtesy. You don't have to be that courteous. So black people, y'all know how we do it. Like, Julian had already hooked me up with a job. I ain't worried about it. You start slipping on your projects. You start coming in a little bit later. You start doing things a little bit different. They'd be like, Curtis, what's going on? It seems like you're a little distracted here lately. Oh, no, man, I just got a lot going on with the pandemic. And in the back of his mind, Curtis is like, I'm out of here. I'm gone. They ain't finna get no good work out of me. I'll get ready to start my new job here and just soon. That's how I feel like Brad Stevens was. That's exactly how I feel what Brad Stevens did this entire season. He cakewalked knowing that he already had another job. And that's not fair to players who are out there giving their all, like a Jason Tatum, Marcus Smart. Like, how can you tell Marcus Smart, wait a minute, what? Coach ain't here no more. Where he at now? So Danny's gone. Coach moved up. You know what? No wonder in the 50th game, things started to change around here a little bit. And then after Jalen got hurt, you could really tell that he melded in. So Coach, you've been knowing that you was going to be gone. How can he tell him different? Danny ain't steps down. Brad Stevens steps up. Just that quick. So how long? This ain't something that he didn't just get on the phone and be like, hey, Brad, you want a job? You want a new job? Especially after knowing that Brad has come in and complained to Danny a lot if he's been worn out. If you've been worn out, if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, then you tired, then you go tell somebody. So you was wrong. Now, here's the last thing, and I'm out of here. They still ain't gonna get better. I don't care who they bring in. I don't care what coach they bring in there. They're not gonna get better. The reason why they're not gonna get better is because, yes, you have the nucleus of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You ain't got nobody else. Who else you got? Who else? Don't have anybody else. And the sad part about it is, ain't nobody gonna come there to play. Brad Stevens not finna recruit nobody to get him out. Nobody wanted to come to play when he was a coach. You think somebody finna want to come to play? And when I say he's not going to get anybody, I'm talking about any superstars is going to help change that team. Any glorified role players. Like, you can say that Jason Tatum is a superstar. You can say Jaylen Brown is a superstar. So you can say he has this nucleus at his core, but you got to put some things around him. And right now, the Boston Celtics don't have anything around him not to compete. If you look at the Boston Celtics right now, even fully healthy, they can't beat the Nets. They can't beat the Bucks. They can't beat the 76ers. They may be able to beat Atlanta, maybe. They'll beat the Knicks. They have a hard time with Charlotte Hornets. Like, if we're keeping it 100, we're keeping it a buck. They're not going to get anybody to compete. Think about it. The last two free agents, top name free agents, or what some consider, let me say that, what some considered as top name free agents to come to the Boston Celtics was Kemba Walker and Gordon Hayward. Money. Gordon Hayward didn't work out. He's with Charlotte right now. Kemba Walker can't stay healthy. But he got a big contract, so he's like, I don't care nothing about that. I'll take all the racism that's here. Give me my money. Hey, Kemba, are you playing tonight? Pay me. We already paid you. Pay me again. Think about all the people who've played for the Boston Celtics here in the last 15 years. Has anybody been there that said, hey, you know what? I want to go to Boston? Name the last big name person that said, I want to go to Boston. I'm just saying. Brad Stevens, you let that team down. Danny Ainge, you let that team down. And the way that Kyrie got that water bottle thrown at him, and with all of the racist stuff that's still coming out more and more and more and more, you're not going to get the African-American players to say, hey, let me go play for Boston. Ain't nobody finna come. Ask any of those NBA players, hey, would you ever consider going to play for Boston? How much they paying? $1 billion? I gotta go pay. My contract's $1 billion. You know what? I'll give them a discount, $750 million. A year. No, a year. Ain't nobody finna go play for Boston. And the way that you all just pulled off this little trickery that you all just did, who can trust you? If I'm Jason Tatum, and if I'm Jaylen Brown right now, I'm in the office of Brad Stevens. Like, hey, coach, whatever your title is, sit down. We gotta talk. Because if you don't talk to me, then you're gonna have to trade me. Because I'm not coming back. So you sit down, let's talk. How long have y'all had this plan in place? How long have you and Danny conspired for you to get this job? If it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, quack, quack. You've been tuning in to Sports Talk with Big Sarge. I am out of here. I will see you on Tuesday. Hey, y'all be safe out there this weekend. Have fun. That's all I got. I'm out.